We have here to my far right, Stephen M.R. Covey. We just heard from you, and it was very nice to hear about your perspective on trust. Stephen is the co-founder of Coveylink and the Franklin Covey Global Speed of Trust Practice. As well, he is clearly a New York Times and Wall Street best-selling author of the book that you referenced during your talk, which was The Speed of Trust. And we are very, very happy that you're able to stay for our panel.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I want to continue with the questions around this same component of just the relevance. And this is for you, Stephen. Obviously, you have a little bit of passion around trust and its importance. Can you just share with us a little bit about how did trust become the centerpiece? Because it's interesting, we just heard from Dan, obviously he's talking about values, and he's talking about also the constant change and being relevant. And trust can be one of those elements of values that ultimately can come out as a result of some of the values. Can you talk a little bit about how how trust became sort of your centerpiece?
Yeah. Well, for me, it's a little bit like the story I told you of going fly fishing, putting on the polarized sunglasses. That once I kind of put the trust glasses on and saw the world through the lens of trust, it affected how I viewed everything else. And I just contrasted, for instance, when I was the CEO of our company, Covey Leadership Center, and we had two different suppliers for a particular product line. One we had high trust with, one was low trust, relatively speaking. On the high trust one, everything happened fast. The low trust one, we had to put in place all these steps to compensate for that lack of trust, extra inspection and the like. And I said to my team, who's paying for all this? And my team said, well, we are. I said, well, why? Because otherwise the client might get a faulty product. And I said, well, why are we working with these two providers when we have high trust with one but not the other? And they said, well, we got to have a redundant source. I said, okay, but my goodness, there is a high cost of low trust, isn't there? And it was that simple, putting the trust glasses on, and then I began to see it everywhere, of how this is just so foundational and affects everything. And we all kind of know it, but we've often never looked at it in terms of economics. And so that, I think, is kind of a new way of thinking about trust as an economic driver, as well as that deep foundational element that Dan is referring to, of a base, of a roots, and having that stability that trust gives you as well. And that's where you combine the character and the competence, in a sense, your two pieces, Dan, of the apps, all about the relevance, staying relevant, and then the roots with the word. And you combine that, and that's a sustainable trust for a person, for a leader, for a team, for an organization. And that's what's needed today. The other thing I would just add is that our world also has evolved to where you look at the economic ages of humankind, from the hunter-gatherer phase to the agrarian society to the industrial age, to today we're in the knowledge worker age. And in the knowledge worker age, the focus is on people. In the industrial age, the focus is on things. We manage things, but we should lead people. People don't want to be managed, they want to be led. Too often, though, our strengths come out of the industrial age, where we're very good at managing things, and we start to manage people. But the key learning is manage things, lead people. And that kind of leadership requires trust, because people will follow those that they trust.
Very nice, very nice.